that vote was about documents. Joining us now, Gretchen Hamill, Executive Director of Public Notice, and Democratic campaign consultant Ryan Clayton, founder of 100proofpolitics.com. Thank you both for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So is Attorney General Holder, as he says his words, being used as a proxy to attack President Obama, or is this a legitimate move by the House to hold him in contempt? And I will begin with you, Gretchen.
Oh, it's a legitimate move made by the House. I mean, you have to look at what Holder did, and it looks like he's covering up a crime. There are over 80,000 documents out there, and he's only given 7,600 pages of those documents to House Republicans. I mean, this is all on Holder. This is not about politics. This is about covering up something or not telling the American people the truth and the Brian Terry family the truth.
So what about that, Ryan? The Justice Department has provided ICE's House Oversight and Government Reform Committee with 7,600 documents on Fast and Furious, but there are, in fact, 150,000. So why not provide the rest if there's nothing to hide?
Well, Republicans in Congress and their right-wing allies were the exact same people who defended President Bush when he used executive privilege. And now these exact same people, these opportunistic politicians, are viciously and relentlessly attacking President Obama for doing the exact same thing. You know, when is somebody going to stand up and tell members of Congress like Representative Issa and Representative West that enough is enough? Have you no shame? This reminds me of McCarthy-style witch hunts where members of Congress viciously and relentlessly attacked fellow public servants.
Okay.
It's time
Ryan,
to stop the attacks.
I mean, I want to point out, Ryan is just talking, he's talking about House Republicans and what they used to say. Let's talk about what the president and what he used to say. And he said that he was going to treat them as a co-equal branch of government, that he was going to have the most transparent administration ever. And what? Why can't we hold him accountable?
And I would add to that, Ryan, as well, 17 Democrats voted to hold the Attorney General in contempt as well. So it wasn't just Republicans across the board. And you mentioned this, President Obama, by no means, you're right, the first to invoke executive privilege. President Bush invoked it 6 times, Clinton 14 times. But here's the thing that I would point out to you. President Obama criticized the Bush administration of hiding behind executive privilege. It was over the controversial firing of 9 U.S. attorneys back in 2007 when President Bush refused to hand over subpoenaed documents declaring executive privilege instead. So is President Obama not doing the very same thing that he accused President Bush of doing? And in this case, we have a dead Border Patrol agent, Brian Terry.
That's very true, and that's a tragedy for everyone in America who values the lives of those who serve the American population every day. And unfortunately, Republicans in Congress have chosen to play politics and to score cheap political points off of that tragedy, when what they should be doing is their job, which is fixing the problems facing our country and putting Americans back to work. You know, President Obama has been working on that since day one, working to get our country back on track, working to recover the economy, and he has to deal with these Republicans in Congress with these baseless accusations, and they're just stirring up trouble when what they really need to be doing is their job, which is fixing the problems facing our country and putting Americans back to work. You know, it's time for Congress to get back to work doing their job, and they need to wake up or grow up or both.
Well, Gretchen, on that point, is this a distraction from other issues leading up to the election? We do have a poll that we're going to talk about a little bit later. It's a Rasmussen poll that shows about 74% of people, they say the economy is their top issue. Is this a distraction?
I mean, it is a distraction, but don't you think an investigation needs to happen here? I mean, just because we're so concerned about the economy, just because we need to get millions of Americans back working again, and the president has yet to set forth any real policies to have done that, doesn't mean that we should give everyone a pass for not holding people accountable. We should be holding everyone accountable. We can walk and chew gum at the same time.
Why don't we look at who passed the laws that turned America into a supermarket of assault weaponry for the drug cartels in Central and South America?
And let's look at that stimulus that hasn't really created the jobs that it was supposed to create.
That make it so anyone can buy an unlimited amount of assault weapons here in this country. Did you get what you wanted, Republican Party? Did you get what you wanted, GOP?
Oh my God, Ryan, you are making this, there you are.
Talk
about someone who is making this about issue it's not. I think it's Ryan.
And Ryan, I would ask you just this one question, point blank. Does the family of Brian Terry deserve answers?
Of course. The family of Brian Terry gave their son's life for this country, and I don't think that anyone should be playing politics with his life or making accusations and going up and trying to take out the Attorney General and trying to slap President Obama. I think they should have some dignity and respect for that family and let them grieve in private, and then follow the investigation and see what comes out of it and make sure that justice is done. That's what we all want. That's what all Americans want. I don't know why Republicans want to turn this into a political issue so they can take down the American president. That's just ridiculous, and it's disrespectful, quite frankly, to the office of the presidency and to the family of Brian Terry.
And Gretchen, one of the other phrases that's been used is that this has been a political witch hunt on behalf of the Attorney General Eric Holder, but he has been behind a lot of controversial decisions. You know, the KSM trial, prosecuting CIA operatives, voter ID laws, suing Arizona for enforcing immigration laws. So does he have some sort of argument there?
This is separate from that, and I think everyone can admit that we are looking at this, that the American public is looking at this as an area where there is something that we need to know. That we need to know what Holder was doing. We need to know what this program was about. We need to know what happened to Brian Terry. And the family has said themselves that they want this investigation to happen, that they want it to. They want to know what happened to their son. And they're not getting that because Holder isn't cooperating. He isn't telling people what is going on. And Congress has the right of oversight.
Yes.
Attorney General Eric Holder is the one who has put together the investigation to figure out what's going on in this situation, and the only thing Republicans in Congress doing is holding that up by stirring up trouble and trying to turn this into a political issue. No, they're not holding it up. Brian,
you know what? Keep up the talking points, and actually let's have a real conversation.
Okay, on that point we have to go, but thank you both for joining us. Obviously a heated debate today on a very hot day. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Greg.
Medical research.